Evan walked through Sector Blue Marketplace late at night, the sky glowing with neon colors that flickered like broken stars. He was tired after a long work shift, and he just wanted to reach home, make some tea and sleep. But this night was different. This night was strange the moment the wind changed direction and carried a soft, trembling voice to him. He heard it behind a broken food stall, a whisper so small he first thought it was only the wind. But then it came again, weak and scared. "Human, is it safe?" Evan stopped walking. The whole market was empty, shops closed, lights fading. No one should be here. No one except he slowly stepped toward the voice. Behind a pile of torn boxes, he saw something glowing faintly like a moon hiding under cloth. When he moved the box aside, he froze. A small alien girl sat curled on the ground, shaking. Her big silver eyes looked up at him with fear and hope mixed together. She held a half-eaten cake in her tiny hands. The cake looked strange. The top was bitten, the icing melted, and the inside had a faint blue glow. It did not look safe at all. The alien girl pressed it to her chest and whispered again, "Human. Is this safe?" Evan knelt carefully. "Safe? I don't know." "Where did you get it?" She swallowed hard. "It is for my mom. Her birthday is tomorrow. I must bring a cake." "But someone tried to stop me. Someone damaged it." Her voice cracked. She looked like she was about to cry. Evan felt a twist in his chest. She looked maybe 12 years old in human age, small, thin, and terrified. "Why would someone harm your cake?" Evan asked softly. "They don't want her to celebrate," she whispered. "They don't want her to remember hope." Evan didn't understand, but he could see one thing clearly: this girl was running from something. He reached out a hand to calm her, but she suddenly tensed. Her eyes widened. "They're coming. They found me." Before Evan could ask who, the air filled with a low humming sound. 3 armored drones swept across the sky. Their red scanning beams dragged across the market floor like searching fingers. A robotic voice echoed from above, cold and sharp, searching for runaway specimen. Sector Blue sweep in progress. Evan felt his heart jolt. Runaway specimen? Was that what they called this small girl? The alien child grabbed his sleeve. "Please, don't let them take me. I only needed a cake." The drones moved closer, beams growing brighter. The air smelled like hot metal. Evan grabbed the girl's hand without thinking. "Come on." He pulled her behind the market stalls. They ducked under a hanging tarp just as a drone passed over them. The beam nearly touched Evan's shoe. He held his breath. The girl held the cake tighter, whispering something in her own language, a small broken prayer. When the drone passed, Evan guided her quietly to an old delivery door. "We can hide inside," he said. She nodded but looked again at the half-eaten cake. "I tried so hard, human. I tried to buy the perfect one. But they chased me and tore it. My mother, she will think I don't love her anymore." "That's not true," Evan said quickly. "You are risking everything for her." The girl blinked up at him, surprised by his kindness. "No one from my colony trusts humans," she whispered. "They say humans are cruel. And what do you think?" Evan asked gently. She looked down. "You stopped to help me, so maybe they are wrong." Before Evan could answer, the drones returned, now flying lower. The robotic voice repeated, louder this time. "Specimen detected. Prepare capture." Evan's stomach tightened. "They were found." The girl squeezed his arm. "Human, please don't leave me." He didn't know why, but something inside him refused to run away. He felt protective of her, like she was a little sister he had just met. The glowing cake pulsed softly in her hands, as if reacting to her fear. Evan whispered, "Stay close. I'll get you out." They darted toward a narrow alley. The drones shot a beam that cracked the wall beside them. Sparks exploded like fireflies. Evan shielded the girl with his body as they ran deeper into the alley. "Why are they hunting?" "You?" he asked breathlessly. "Because," she whispered, voice shaking, "my mom once wanted peace with humans. They punished her, and now they punish me." Evan felt anger rise inside him. How could anyone do this to a child? The alley ended at a locked gate. Evan pushed it, but it didn't move. The drone's shadows grew larger behind them, the girls. Voice trembled. "Human, is the cake safe? Will my mom be safe?" Evan looked at the glowing, half-eaten cake. It looked dangerous, it looked strange. But he knew one thing for sure. "She will be safe," he said, "because I'm not letting them take you." The drones charged their weapons, and the real danger was only beginning. The drone's red lights flashed across the walls as Evan pushed harder against the locked gate. His hands shook from fear and frustration. The alien girl clutched the glowing cake tightly, her breath quick and panicked. The metallic footsteps of the drones grew louder, echoing through the alley like a countdown. Evan glanced at the girl. "What's your name?" "Lyra," she whispered. "My name is Lyra." "Okay, Lyra," Evan said. "I need you to trust me. Stay behind me." He kicked the lock one more time. The gate finally snapped open with a loud crack. They slipped inside, and Evan pulled the gate shut behind them. They were now in an old underground service tunnel, dark and dusty. The air smelled like rust and old wires. Lyra followed quietly, her little feet making soft tapping sounds. A dim emergency light flickered overhead, giving the place a strange, lonely feeling. Lyra hugged the cake again, as if it were the most precious thing in the world. Evan watched her for a moment. Her silver eyes were full of sadness, but also hope. "Why do they call you a specimen?" Evan asked softly as they walked. Deeper into the tunnel, Lyra lowered her head. "Because I was born different from others in my colony. My mother said it is a gift. The leaders said it is a danger." "What is the difference?" Evan asked. She hesitated. "I can sense emotions, not fully, but I can feel when someone is kind or cruel. It helps me understand the truth." Evan blinked, surprised. "You felt that I was kind?" "Yes," she whispered. "When you looked at me, I did not feel fear. I felt courage. I felt safety." The words hit Evan in a strange way. He had never thought of himself as brave, but hearing it from her gave him a strange strength. They reached a heavy metal door. Evan pushed it open. Inside was an old storage room filled with broken boxes and dusty shelves. It was hidden, quiet, perfect. For hiding. Evan closed the door behind them and turned to Lyra. "Okay, we're safe for now." Lyra looked around nervously. "Are you sure?" "Yes," Evan said, though he wasn't entirely sure himself. The cake began glowing brighter, lighting up her small face. Evan stared at it. "That thing, it isn't normal cake, is it?" Lyra shook her head slowly. "It is not food, it is a memory cake. On my planet, we give it to someone we love. It holds warm feelings. It helps sick people feel strong." Again, Evan felt a chill. "So your mother is sick? And this cake, it helps her live?" Lyra nodded, tears filling her eyes. "Yes, she is very weak. Tomorrow is her birthday. If I do not bring this cake, she will think I do not care. She will lose hope." Evan sat beside her. "But who damaged it?" Lyra wiped her eyes. "One of the colony guards. He saw me trying to leave. He said my mother does not deserve hope. He attacked the cake to scare me." Evan clenched his fists. The idea that someone would destroy something important to a child just to cause pain made his blood boil. But then Lyra added something even more disturbing. "He said humans cannot be part of our traditions. He said my mother should not trust them. But my mother always believed some humans have good hearts." Evan stared at the floor. "Your mother tried to make peace between humans and your colony?" "Yes," Lyra said. She was a peace ambassador. But the leaders hated her for that. Evan took a slow breath. The puzzle pieces were falling into place. Lyra's mother wasn't just sick. She was a symbol. A symbol the colony leaders wanted to erase. And now they were hunting her daughter, because she carried something that would keep that symbol alive. Suddenly, the storage room vibrated slightly. Evan froze. A mechanical hum echoed from the tunnels. Outside, Lyra clutched his sleeve. They are close. Evan stood and listened. Heavy steps. Metal scraping. The drones were searching every door. They're scanning the tunnels, Evan whispered. We cannot stay here too long. Lyra's tiny voice trembled. Where will we go? Evan thought quickly. There was an old network of underground tunnels. Beneath the city left over from old construction. Most people forgot about them, but Evan remembered exploring some as a child. There's a way out, Evan said, but it's dangerous. And dark, but it's our only chance. Lyra nodded, trusting him completely. The glowing cake pulsed softly, as if responding to her belief in him. Evan opened the storage door and peeked outside. The drones were closer now. Their lights flashed like red lightning. He looked back at Lyra. Stay behind me. Keep the cake safe. Lyra nodded. I will. Together, they stepped into the dark tunnel again, not knowing what waited ahead, but knowing they had to keep moving. Evan held Lyra's hand tightly as they stepped back into the tunnel. The dim lights flickered, casting long shadows on the walls. The air felt colder now, heavy with danger. The distant drone voices grew louder behind them, repeating the same sharp command. Specimen detected. Continue pursuit. Lyra squeezed the glowing cake close to her chest, her small body shaking. Evan noticed how the soft blue light from the cake reflected on her silver eyes. She looked exhausted, frightened, but still holding on. We need to move faster, Evan whispered. Lyra nodded and followed him deeper into the maze-like tunnels. The old underground paths twisted and turned, like forgotten roots of the city. Pipes lined the walls, some broken, dripping water that echoed through the silence. It felt like they were walking through the bones of the world. Do humans build places like this often? Lyra asked quietly. Evan smiled a little. Not anymore. These tunnels are from old times. People don't even remember they exist. Lyra looked around with wide eyes. On my planet, we don't have places like this. Everything is built fresh. Old things, we destroy them. Evan glanced at her. Why? Because old things remind them of mistakes, Lyra whispered. My mother said old things are important. They teach us. Evan felt deeper respect. For Lyra's mother. She sounded wise and gentle and lonely. Suddenly, Lyra stopped walking. She placed her small hand on a pipe and frowned. What's wrong? Evan asked. I feel something, she whispered. Someone is coming. Not drones, people. Evan listened carefully. After a few seconds, he heard voices echoing faintly from the far end of the tunnel, angry and fast. Alien voices. They weren't alone. Evan quickly pulled Lyra behind a large support beam. The voices got closer, spread out. One alien guard barked, the child is near. The drones tracked her energy. Another growled, she should not have escaped. Her mother must not be allowed hope. Lyra trembled. Evan put a calming hand on her shoulder. He whispered, Hey, look at me. She lifted her eyes slowly. You are not alone, Evan said. We'll get through this. Lyra nodded, tears threatening to fall. The guards' footsteps came closer. Evan saw their shadows on the tunnel wall, tall, heavy creatures with glowing armor. Lyra leaned against him, clutching the cake so tightly her knuckles turned pale. The cake flickered again. Evan noticed something strange. That cake, why is it glowing more now? Lyra took a shaky breath. It reacts to emotions. When I feel fear or love, it remembers. It gathers feelings. It becomes stronger. Evan's eyes widened. So it really is a memory cake. Yes, she whispered. My mother needs it. Without it, she cannot survive her illness. The guards came so close, Evan could hear their breathing. He held Lyra gently and prayed they wouldn't look behind the beam. One guard stopped. His footsteps paused just meters away. Evan's heart hammered in his chest. Lyra pressed her forehead against his arm, trying not to cry. A tense moment passed, then the guard barked, "Nothing here. Move forward." Their footsteps faded into the distance. Evan exhaled slowly. That was close, he whispered. Lyra nodded shakily. Thank you, human. They continued moving until the tunnel opened into a wider underground chamber. The ceiling was high, covered in old cables and rusted metal plates. A broken transport rail ran along the center. This used to be part of the old shuttle system. Evan explained, but it's been abandoned for years. Lyra gently touched the broken rail. Can we use it? No, Evan said, but there is an exit near here. A ladder that leads to a forgotten maintenance dock. From there, we can reach the alien district without being seen. Lyra took a deep breath. Then we go. They walked carefully toward the back of the chamber. But as they neared the ladder, Lyra suddenly stopped again. Her eyes widened, filled with fear. What now? Evan asked. She pointed at the cake. The glow was no longer soft and gentle. It was bright and pulsing like a heartbeat. It is warning me, Lyra whispered. Something bad is close. Evan scanned the room. The guards again? No, Lyra said, shaking her head. Something else. Before Evan could ask, a metallic growl echoed from the shadows. A drone, larger than the others, crawled out from behind a pile of debris. Its eyes glowed red. Sharp arms unfolded from its sides. It was a hunter drone, built for capture. Not scanning. Lyra gasped. It found us. The drone's voice boomed. Priority target detected. Surrender. Evan stood in front of Lyra again. Even though he knew this drone wasn't like the others, it was stronger, faster, deadly. The glowing cake hummed in. Lyra's hands, reacting to the danger. Evan whispered, "Stay behind me. Don't let it take you." The hunter drone took a step forward, and the chase turned into a fight for survival. Asterisk. The hunter drone's metal claws scraped against the floor as it approached, its red eyes glowing brighter with each step. Evan moved in front of Lyra, spreading his arms slightly like a shield. His heart raced, but he did not step back. Behind him, Lyra held the glowing memory cake, and the light grew stronger, almost trembling with fear. The drone's voice echoed through the chamber. "Human, step aside. Target belongs to the colony." Evan swallowed hard. "She's a child. Leave her alone. Irrelevant. She carries Forbidden's memory. Surrender immediately." Forbidden's memory? Evan didn't understand, but Lyra gasped. Softly, she tugged at his sleeve. "Evan, this drone is different. It can block emotions. It can block the cake's power." "Does that mean it can take you?" Evan asked. Lyra nodded, eyes full of fear. Yes. The drone lunged forward, surprisingly fast. Evan jumped to the side, pulling Lyra with him. The drone crashed into the wall, sending sparks flying. Evan grabbed a rusted metal pipe from the floor and swung it. The pipe hit the drone's leg, but barely scratched it. The drone turned its head toward him, red eyes narrowing. Resistance detected. Human threat. Minor. It charged again. Evan pushed Lyra behind a large metal crate. "Don't move," he whispered. The drone extended a claw toward Evan. Evan ducked, rolled, and grabbed another piece of debris to throw at it. Nothing slowed it down. The drone lifted him by the collar and slammed him against the wall. Pain shot through his back. It raised another claw toward his neck. Lyra screamed, "Stop!" The cake exploded with light, bright blue, warm, powerful. The air vibrated. The drone staggered backward for a moment. Confused. Evan dropped to his knees, coughing for breath. The drone steadied itself. Memory surge detected. Unapproved emotional source. Neutralizing. It prepared to attack again. Lyra ran to Evan and touched his shoulder. "Evan, I must tell you something." He looked at her through the pane. "What? My mother?" "She is not only a peace ambassador," Lyra whispered, voice shaking. "She carries the ancient memories of my people. Memories that tell the truth about humans. Memories that show humans saved our ancestors long ago." Evan's eyes widened. "Humans saved your people?" "Yes," Lyra nodded quickly. "But the colony leaders hid this truth because they want control. If people know humans helped us, leadership will lose power." Evan now understood. The cake wasn't just a tradition. It was a memory device, a container of emotional truth. If Lyra brought it to her mother, the truth would survive, and that was why the colony wanted to stop her. Suddenly, Lyra's body shook again. "Then, it is not only my mother who can unlock the memory. Humans can too." Evan stared at the cake. "Me? Why me?" "Because you feel emotions strongly," Lyra whispered. "And because you are kind. My mother said only a human with a true heart can activate the ancient link." Evan blinked. "You're saying I'm connected to all this?" Before Lyra could answer, the hunter drone roared and dashed toward them again. Evan grabbed Lyra and pulled her behind another crate. The drone's claws sliced through the air where they had stood moments earlier. "We need to escape," Evan sighed, breathing hard. "There is a ladder," Lyra pointed toward the far end of the chamber. "It leads to the upper docks. From there, we can reach my district." The drone shot a beam that hit the crate, shattering it into pieces. Evan picked Lyra up and ran toward the ladder. Halfway there, the drone fired again. A metal shard hit Evan's leg. He stumbled but kept running. Lyra cried out, "You are hurt." "I'm fine." Evan lied, limping faster. They reached the ladder. Evan pushed Lyra upward. "Go, I'll follow." Lyra hesitated. "What about you?" "Go," Evan insisted. She climbed quickly, holding the cake in one arm. The drone advanced, claws scraping, its voice growing louder. "Surrender. You cannot escape." Evan clenched his jaw and grabbed a heavy metal box nearby. With all his strength, he swung it at the drone's head. The impact shook the chamber but did not break the machine. The drone turned toward him, focusing completely on Evan now. Lyra reached the top of the ladder and leaned down. "Evan, please climb." Evan grabbed the ladder and began climbing, pain shooting through his leg. The drone leapt, trying to grab his foot, but its claws barely missed. Evan climbed faster as the drone growled below. When he reached the top, Lyra grabbed his arm and pulled him into the dock passage. Evan collapsed on the floor, breathing heavily. Lyra hugged the cake and whispered, "You saved me again." Evan managed a weak smile. "We're not done yet. We still need to reach your mother." Lyra nodded, determination in her eyes. The memory cake glowed brighter than ever, and somewhere deep inside it, something new began to awaken. Evan sat against the cold metal wall of the upper dock passage, breathing hard. His leg throbbed from the wound, but he tried not to show it. Lyra knelt beside him, her silver eyes full of worry. The memory cake glowed softly in her hands, casting blue light on both of them. "Evan, you are hurt," Lyra whispered. "I'll manage," Evan said, forcing a smile. "We just need to keep moving." But the truth was clear: he was weakened. And the drones wouldn't stop. Lyra listened carefully. "The hunter drone is still below us. I cannot feel its steps, but I feel its silence. It is searching." "How far is your district?" Evan asked. "Across the east gate," Lyra said. "But we cannot use the main paths, they are watched." Evan looked down the long, narrow corridor ahead. Rusty pipes ran along the walls, steam leaking through cracks. It felt like a place forgotten by everyone except Danger. He pushed himself up with effort. Lyra quickly supported him, her small hand steady on his arm. "You shouldn't help me," Evan said, embarrassed that a child had to hold him. Lyra shook her head. "You helped me when you did not have to. Now I help you. That is how love works." Her simple words stunned him for a second. "Love?" Evan repeated gently. "Yes," Lyra said, "not shy at all, not romantic love. Not family love, a different kind. The kind where two hearts protect each other." Evan reflected on that as they continued walking. Her innocence made him feel something he hadn't felt in a long time. Purpose. They reached a junction where the passage split into three. A faint green light blinked above each path. Lyra closed her eyes for a moment, focusing. "The middle one," she whispered. "It feels safer. You sense emotions." "Even from places?" Evan asked. "Not places," she replied softly, "but from echoes inside them. If a place has fear, I feel it. If it has hope, I feel that too." Evan nodded. Strange, yet impressive. They walked into the middle tunnel, and immediately the air became warmer. The walls changed color slightly, glowing faintly with alien markings. Lyra traced the markings with her fingers. "This is old colony design," she said. "Very old. Maybe from before the leaders changed everything." The idea that she was walking through her people's forgotten history made her chest rise with quiet pride, but the peace didn't last long. A distant boom shook dust from the ceiling. Evan flinched. What was that? Lyra's eyes widened. An access door, forced open. "They are coming from above now." The hunter drone had found another route. They picked up their pace, but Evan's limp slowed them. Lyra held his hand tighter, the cake glowing brighter with her rising fear. They reached a high balcony-like platform that overlooked a deep chamber filled with pipes and energy cores. Large turbine engines hummed below like sleeping beasts. "This is the old power center," Evan said. Lyra pointed to a narrow bridge leading to another door across the chamber. "That door leads outside the human zone. After that, we can reach my district." Evan nodded, but the bridge looked unstable. Thin, rusted. Before they could step onto it, a metallic thud echoed behind them. The hunter drone appeared on the balcony. Its red eyes glowed like fire. Lyra gasped, stepping back. Evan pushed her behind him again. The drone's voice boomed. "Priority target, Lyra Al-Siren. Human interference detected. Eliminate human." The drone charged toward Evan first, swinging its claw. Evan ducked, barely avoiding it. The blow smashed the railing with a loud crash. Lyra screamed. "Evan!" Desperate, Evan grabbed a loose metal pipe from the floor and swung it with all his strength. It barely dented the drone, but it made it step back for a moment. "Run across the bridge!" Evan shouted. Lyra hesitated, shaking her head. "Not without you. Go, Lyra. Your mother needs you." Tears filled Lyra's eyes. She turned and ran onto the unstable bridge. The memory cake glowed like a star in her hands. The drone turned toward her. "No!" Evan shouted and grabbed the drone's damaged leg, pulling it with every ounce of strength. The drone kicked him away, sending him sliding across the floor. Evan's vision blurred, but he forced himself up again. The bridge shook as Lyra ran across it. The drone stepped onto the bridge too, causing it to creak dangerously. Lyra reached the other side and turned around. "Evan now!" Evan limped onto the bridge. It swayed under him. The drone behind him made the metal groan. With its weight, halfway across, the drone raised its claw to strike. Lyra screamed and held out the memory cake. "Stop!" The cake burst with radiant blue light, filling the chamber. The drone froze mid-step. The bridge trembled violently. The world shook, and everything began to break apart beneath them. The bridge shook under the force of the memory cakes. Burst of light. Blue waves rippled through the chamber like silent thunder. Pipes vibrated, dust rained from the ceiling, and the old turbines groaned as if waking from a long sleep. Lyra stood on the far end of the bridge, the glowing cake held tightly in her arms. Evan was still halfway across, breathless, injured, and fighting to stay balanced. The hunter drone froze only for a moment, but that moment saved Evan's life. The blue flash faded, and the drone's eyes flickered back to red. Memory surge detected. Disruption unstable. Target must be secured. It stepped forward, and the metal bridge whined beneath its heavy legs. "Evan, hurry!" Lyra cried, reaching out as if her tiny hands could pull him from a distance. Evan pushed forward, gritting his teeth against the pain in his leg. Every step felt like walking on a shaking rope. Every breath felt shorter. Loud crack tore through the chamber. The bridge floor split, running straight between Evan and the drone. The drone stumbled but recovered fast. Evan nearly slipped, but grabbed a loose wire for support. Lyra screamed, "Evan, don't fall." "I'm not planning to." Evan shouted back, trying to force humor into his voice, even as fear tightened his chest. The drone extended one of its long claws toward Evan's back. Evan turned just in time, dodging the swipe, but the movement cost him balance. He slipped, his foot sliding into one of the growing cracks. His heart jumped. Lyra gasped, the cake's glow flickering wildly. "No, no." Evan pulled himself up again, his hands shaking. "I'm still here." The drone advanced again, each step threatening to break the bridge completely. Lyra clutched the memory cake and whispered something, not in human language, not in colony language, something ancient. The cake responded with a soft hum that spread through the air like warm wind, but the drone pushed through it. "Evan," Lyra cried, tears streaking her cheeks, "we cannot fight it here." Evan knew she was right. The bridge was moments away from collapsing. He took another step forward, dragging his injured leg. "Lyra, open the door on your side." Lyra turned and slammed her hand on the control panel. Sparks jumped, and the metal door slowly groaned open. But before Evan could reach her, the drone lunged. Its claw scraped across Evan's shoulder, tearing his shirt and drawing blood. He staggered, nearly falling into the crack below. "Evan!" Lyra screamed so loud. Her voice echoed through the entire chamber. Evan looked up at the drone. Something inside him snapped, not fear this time, but fierce determination. He grabbed the drone's arm with both hands and twisted his body, using its weight against it. The drone stumbled sideways. Its foot hit the weak edge of the bridge. The metal broke. The drone plunged downward, claws scraping against the collapsing structure. Its voice echoed, not in fear but cold calculation, system integrity failing, recalculating. Then it fell into the depths below, crashing among the silent turbines. The bridge shook violently one last time. Evan lost his balance completely. The floor crumbled beneath him. He fell, but a small hand grabbed his wrist. Lyra. Her tiny fingers strained, her face red with effort, tears falling freely. "I won't let go. I won't let go." Evan dangled over the dark chamber, his life hanging by a child's fragile grip. "Lyra, you can't hold me," Evan gasped, his body heavy. Double quotes, "Yes, I can," she cried, voice breaking. "Humans saved my people before. Now I save you." The memory cake glowed so brightly it hurt to look at. Blue light wrapped around Lyra's arms, around Evan's hand, strengthening the bond between them. With a desperate cry, Lyra pulled with every ounce of strength she had. Evan swung his free arm upward and grabbed the edge of the platform. Together, they dragged him up until he rolled onto solid ground. Gasping, shaking, alive, Lyra collapsed beside him and hugged him tightly, her small body trembling. I thought you were gone." Evan placed a hand on her head. "I'm not going anywhere." They lay there for a moment, breathing the same shaky breaths. But the danger wasn't gone. A distant alarm suddenly blared deep, echoing, mechanical. Lyra sat up fast. "They know," she whispered. They felt the memory surge. "More drones will come, and my district, my mother. They might already be surrounded." Evan pushed himself into a sitting position. His face was pale, but his eyes were full of determination. "Then we move now," he said. "We finish this." Lyra nodded and stood. She held the glowing cake like a heart carrying a whole world of love and truth. Together, they stepped toward the open door. One path left, one mission left, one fragile hope left. Save her mother, save the truth, save everything. Evan and Lyra stepped through the heavy door into a long curved corridor. The air was colder here, and the lights flickered weakly, as if the entire building knew something important was about to happen. Lyra held the memory cake close to her chest, its glow steady and bright, almost guiding them. "We must hurry," Lyra whispered, her voice trembling with both fear and hope. "My district is not far now." Evan limped beside her, but determination kept him moving. Every muscle in his body ached. His leg burned from the wound, but none of it mattered now. The only thing that mattered was reaching Lyra's mother. They reached a tall door marked with alien symbols glowing faintly blue. Lyra touched them gently. "This door opens only for someone who carries true memory," she whispered. The symbols reacted instantly. The lines lit up and the door slid open with a soft hum. Beyond it lay the entrance to her district, but something was wrong. The streets were silent. The usual soft lantern lights were off. Homes were dark. And at the center of the district stood a group of tall alien guards, armored and alert. Lyra gasped. "No, they came before us." Evan pulled her gently. "Behind a pillar. Your mother, where is she kept?" Lyra pointed to a house with curved walls and glowing patterns now dimmed and broken. "That is my home." Evan watched the guards. They were scanning every entrance, every shadow. And above them hovered two drones smaller than the hunter drone, but still dangerous. Lyra's hands shook. "If they see me, they will take me. If they take the cake, everything will be lost." Evan carefully studied the area. "There's a side path," he whispered, seeing a narrow alley. "Behind the houses, we can circle around. Enter from the back." Lyra nodded quickly. They moved quietly, keeping to the shadows, avoiding the guard's vision. The memory cake glowed softly, but Lyra wrapped it in her scarf to hide the light. They reached the back entrance of her home, an old sliding door slightly cracked open. Inside the house was dim and quiet. Lyra stepped in first. "Mom?" she whispered softly. No answer. Evan followed her inside. The home was different from human houses. Round walls, soft glowing lines, and floating stones that reacted to movement. But now everything seemed drained of color. They moved to the inner room. There, lying on a low bed, was Lyra's mother. She was pale, her silver skin dim like fading moonlight. Her breaths were slow and shallow. She looked fragile, like someone half asleep in another world. "Mom," Lyra whispered, her voice shaking as she ran to her. Her mother opened her eyes slightly. "Lyra, you came," she whispered weakly. Lyra placed the glowing cake in her mother's hands. "I brought it. I didn't fail you." Her mother smiled softly, but the smile faded when she saw Evan, a human. She breathed. "You protected my daughter?" Evan nodded, stepping forward. "She protected me too." Lyra's mother touched the memory cake gently. The glow spread across her fingers and up her arms. The cake reacted, humming with warmth, releasing the emotional memories stored inside. Suddenly, a soft projection filled the room. Images of ancient times, humans helping Lyra's ancestors escape a dying planet. Humans sharing shelter, food, and hope. Evan and Lyra watched in awe. "These memories," Evan whispered, "they show the truth. Yes, Lyra's mother said, her voice growing stronger, but the leaders fear this truth. They want control, not unity. Footsteps sounded outside. Voices. The guards were searching the home. Lyra panicked. "Mom, they are coming!" Lyra's mother sat up slowly, strength returning through the memory glow. "They will not take you," she said gently, touching Lyra's face. "And they will not harm the human who protected you." The door burst open. Guards stormed inside. But when they saw Lyra's mother standing glowing with ancient memory, they froze. One guard stepped forward nervously. You were dying." How? Lyra's mother raised her hand. The memory cake pulsed, sending a wave of blue light through the room. It wasn't harmful but overwhelming, filled with pure emotion. Images flooded the guards' minds, humans saving their people, kindness shared across species, truth hidden by leaders who feared change. The guards dropped their weapons. Their eyes softened, their anger faded. Lyra clutched Evan's hand. "Mom, they understand now?" Her mother nodded. "The truth is stronger than fear." The drones above the house blinked and powered down, shutting off as the memory wave passed. Over them, a guard stepped forward and bowed his head. "We were wrong. The leaders lied." Evan let out a long breath of relief. Lyra hugged her mother tightly, tears of joy falling. "I thought I would lose you." Her mother smiled and pulled Evan into the hug. "You saved my daughter," she said softly. "You saved hope." Evan felt warmth spread through him, something deeper than pride. Something like belonging. Lyra looked up at him with bright eyes. "See, Evan," she whispered. "Humans and my people. We are meant to be friends." Evan squeezed her hand. "We already are." Outside, lanterns flickered back to life. Warm light filled the district again. A new beginning had started. A human, an alien child. A mother who carried ancient truth, and a half-eaten cake that saved an entire world's future.